Hi, I'm Liz.
And I'm Rhea.
Welcome to Karma's My Bitch, a podcast about
sex,
love,
magic,
desire,
purpose,
bliss,
and how life isn't simply the stories we tell ourselves. So this is one of the extra episodes again, but extra does not mean, and I really laugh because in another season I called it something stupid like the unnecessary episodes.
And I was like, I don't want to think that we're doing something really unnecessary and like
but it's not
wasting our time.
But you said they were actually pivotal, and they're teaching that they're laying a foundation, or they're doing something different. But actually, this one I'm excited about because it's about abundance and money, and I feel like we all want to know a bit more about that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So these extra 5, as we know them, they're pieces for the foundation. So they're essential pieces is how they like to describe them.
So if anything, they're more necessary.
Yeah. What does that make the other 20 episodes then?
Unnecessary. I'm okay.
Like, are we going to start we're going to start ranking them? Listen to this one, but maybe not this one.
I'm going to try and figure out which my favorite one was. I don't know yet.
For this season?
For all the seasons. What is my favorite episode of the podcast?
I don't know. Sometimes I find the memorable ones are not my favorite.
No. I can tell you hands down which is my worst one. Hand in my pocket. Which, I mean, it seems like, but I like the fact, and I don't know if we share this, I'm just going to put this in really quickly, but when we write our books, they actually are far more than just a book. In some respects, you can use them as cards, you can use them as guidance, but also for us, they seal stuff and they allow us to release certain things. And that was why actually I teared, because one of the chapters in Karmic Adventure, our third book, which in some respects is my favorite, one of the chapters is called Hand in My Pocket. And when I did that, I felt a huge release because it was like, it's there now, it's owned, it's done, and it's out there.
Yeah.
And no longer with me. But going back to abundance, which we don't really discuss in Karmic Adventure. We only really discuss it in book 1. Really.
We do, don't we? And I can't even remember in what capacity we discussed it.
And I'm sure we'll discuss it more in the magic books.
Definitely, because I think we really see it a lot more in magic. I think abundance with regard to karma is why karma keeps us out of abundance, or why our karmic story and going through it keeps us out of abundance often. Yeah. No, it's not always the case. And then how we get a little screwed up with the idea of manifestation for abundance and stuff like that. Exactly. So it's kind of about the pitfalls of the pursuit of abundance, I'd say. Yeah. So by the time we're in bliss and we're in the unwritten part of our fate, if you consider by then we've gone through 5D oneness. We've experienced magic for most of us and happiness. So what does it all look like when we're in the unwritten part of our fate? It's not so much abundance as prosperity.
Makes sense, because abundance, as we define it, is you have what you need for what you need it for.
Yeah.
I mean, whereas prosperity is...
I love it.
I mean, I don't know how to say it differently. Whereas prosperity is taking that abundance and multiplying it, right?
Yeah, so to prosper is to understand that with every given experience we have, there's just much to be gained on all levels. So that includes the financial aspect that we associate with abundance, but it's not limited to specific currencies, right? As we know them to be money and connections.
It's exactly what I just said about the books, because we put out the work. People buy the books, right? But also, as I just said, we also seal, we release, we learn. How much have I learned through writing these books? How much have I got to share through writing these books? These books have given me on so many levels so much. Yes. And it's not necessarily about I wrote the book so I could make money once it was sold. Yes. It's all the experience of writing it and the experience of healing through it, and also the experience that came after it was published, the freedom in it and all the other things it afforded me. There's so much.
Yes.
So if I just looked at it as if I'm doing this so that it can be popular and I can live in my gilded mansion made, with money from these books, that's okay. But then I'd be missing out on all the actual juice, which is all the things writing those books gave me, all the things I experienced and also expressed, like the covers. Like the covers, I saw them in my head. But once they were all there together as a set, that satisfaction and that joy that I was able to create something from literally some mind things, and I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
Like there was so much to it.
Yes.
So it wasn't so much about the abundance of like, oh yeah, like I'm like selling like so many copies. It was definitely much more of the whole experience in every way gave me so much on every level.
Yeah.
And yes, some of it was in financial. And yes, some of it was like, you know, people reading it and being like, wow, that really changed my life and that was really cool. And that makes me really fucking happy because like that's purpose and mission shit. But there was also like all the other treasure that I gleaned from it. There you go. Got a good example.
Huzzah. Okay. So exactly. So when you are in bliss, bliss doesn't concern itself with abundance whatsoever because again, it's a given. So, and because we always have enough, like you said, and it's constant. There is a flow to it, not just a trickle, but there's a steady flow because you're looking at consistency by then. But when we are in bliss, we end up operating from complete divine will. And in that respect, prosperity looks like, and abundance looks like favors. As in, you do for me as I can do for you.
Is that not the same as connections?
No. It's like mutual back rubbing, but it's like, when it comes to connections, as we understand it, out of a world of separation, you're like, oh, you know, but I know this person. There's 6 degrees of separation or 2 degrees of separation. And there's some invisible thread that connects us, or there's something, you know, we know someone or we have our industry in common, you know, whatever that is. That is a bit like storing up relationships for future promise just in case. Like, oh, I can maybe I can tap that person or this thing for my benefit. But that's kind of an old school way of like looking at networking. But it's when we're looking at these favors, again, from the divine will bliss perspective, not in terms of using, it's really powerful when we implement it because my will is activating the will of another. So that's where prosperity comes in. That's really interesting when this came through because I was like, wow, like, I think the books are probably the best example we can give because I was like, wow, this isn't something you see often.
It makes sense to me, although in different words.
Okay.
It's not, I'm going to use you to get what I want.
No,
right?
no, not at all.
That's not like, that's the kind of separation, the idea of you're going to give me something and then I'm going to get to the next stage and I don't really care how I've left you. That's not what that is. It's by working together, we are both going to get something great out of this. So in using the books as an example, you did me a favor, which was hold my hand when I went through my shirt.
Yeah.
I did you a favor, which is...
recording the podcast with me.
Yeah, but recording the podcast with, I mean, I feel like not comfortable defining what those favors were, but
I know it's kind of weird at some point, but we could go back to the very beginning.
Yeah. But you know what I mean?
Like, yeah.
There was an exchange at that point. Or, you know, but even now, like when I think about, like, if it's not mutually beneficial, then it can't work, right? And it makes sense because, listen, at the root of all of our relationships is power. My relationships are more harmonious because I'm showing up as myself. I'm following my heart, tapping into my divinity. I am showing up as my version of the divine, whatever that is, right? And the more I do that, the more my relationships improve. And the more they do that, the more we can create something together, whatever that is, whether it's a fantastic friendship, loving partnership, whatever. But on top of that, and you say this, I'm getting it, I've been thinking about this a lot and it's making sense to me. You said in one of the very earlier episodes, which maybe is one of my favorites now thinking about it, how actually at the core of partnership in our lifetimes, it's about purpose.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so that was like another season.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I thought you meant this season, so I was like, ooh, tell me, what did I say? Oh, okay, yeah.
So, and I never fully understood it until recently, but now I do. Which is, I'm with someone, they support me in my purpose, I support them in their purpose. Therefore, we both grow our powers power separately but together, and we both benefit from us embracing our purposes as a whole. Mm-hmm. And so that's on like kind of a relationship level. But then it gets, but it's more than that. It's
yes,
like,
very much.
I mean, I'm making these up. They're so trite.
You and I are probably the one example we can give to this, because this is why we're struggling, right? Like, so if you consider that everything in 5D is relational, as we said, bliss really does take this notion of abundance and prosperity like up 15 notches, because at the root of our relationships in bliss is power. And power affects change, which is why, they're different from relationships and happiness, which is like, oh, we get along, it's all good, it's really nice when we're together and, whatever. But if we want to see power in our relationships, where we're pushing one another in a very positive way, not because like I'm pulling you along and you've got to come up here with me, but because my power is activating your power, and vice versa. And I think when you gave the example earlier of how we came together and built something, that's probably one of the best examples we could give. Because as much as my, working with me empowered you to first face your shit and then be able to face the world and bring forth your purpose, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you see all the layers. And you inspired me to take a step forward publicly. So I had the courage to want to start this podcast, which you were crazy enough to do with me. And then from there, we worked on we wrote the books, etc. So every time we just kept moving and increasing our power with every step we made.
I mean, neither of us would be who we are today and all the good stuff if it wasn't for everything we did together and pushing each other.
Exactly. But we've gone too long living without our power, that we really can't see what this looks like. That's what's making it so, I think that's what is making recording this episode so challenging. We see connections through the view of separation and a lot of power through that lens still. I mean, not for ourselves, but, I could see where it would struggle because most people are still operating in a rather old school way. Yeah. So, we think, oh, I'll just get a little bit, like I'll just accept the crumbs, right? And be okay with whatever quote unquote abundance I get. In bliss and in the unwritten part of our fate, we're moving in all the levels. It's all the experiences all together. So we cannot exist or relate to people superficially. There's going to be so much more to everything we do.
Is this also for the people on the path to bliss?
Yes. Yeah. You're going to get practice with this. Prosperity is really about mutual gain. So nothing could possibly be one-sided because the other person is going to always require something in return. So yes, like as you might cite, a lot of your friendships, your core friendships will reflect this kind of practice. But that is a lead up to this, us playing in that.
Does it also reflect in like romantic partnerships and stuff, or not really?
No, it's not really about that. The reason why we might be kind of like struggling with this a bit is that this is a very ancient way of exercising our power. So we don't have this programming or this wiring in us anymore. We've evolved out of it. That ability to recognize who can offer us a favor and receive a favor in return. It's actually a wiring. And I was asking, is this sort of an intuitive thing? And they said no. By the time you're in bliss, you're not operating through intuition, as you might when you're coming out of your karma and you're like, ooh, I'm kind of seeing my divinity through my intuition. I'm seeing things and recognizing. By this time, you're so connected to the all that it's automatic. Fuck off. You explain it.
But my question, how does that link to power? So that I can exercise, like, I'm powerful enough to do this favor for you and you're powerful enough to do this favor for me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
When you are that connected in bliss, where you have the power of the all, as we said in previous episodes, so please don't make fun of me.
I'm not.
Again, that's why magic is helpful, because it connects us to the all and we sense our power. It's like complete strangers able to sense the need in another and enter into a mutually beneficial arrangement, without strings. Now, this sounds almost like, okay, well, people can do this in separation. When they do that, they're just using. And they really don't have any intention of returning the favor unless they had to. And that just becomes obligation. We're not there. We're not using people. Everyone's benefiting. Everybody rises up. To get beyond abundance, we kind of have to break out of this complacency, which looks like entitlement. And it's kind of a nuanced thing, because when you are the divine and you recognize you're the divine and you have all this divine power and your will, you could sort of seem entitled, like, fuck yeah, that I should have that. I'm going to have that. On the surface, that might appear entitled, but you're never like not working at the same time. So you're not sitting around and waiting for it to show up. You are always, especially in bliss, you are in the active pursuit of more.
Yes.
And you're not standing on somebody else's back. You're not climbing on someone else's shoulders and pushing them down so you can bring yourself up at all.
So it's not a game of comparison. It's a game of we're all lifting up together.
Yes.
Whilst understanding that there's more to more.
Precisely. Well done. So as I was sort of saying, when you and I came to work together and trying to understand this concept, again, if we don't have that programming, our limited minds, we're not going to be able to wrap our heads around this at all. This is really a full-bodied, higher consciousness way of existing. If we're saying that this activates others, it's just important to consider what it means to operate from our will. So we have to really dig into our power, especially those of us who've experienced separation for so long. So it's like recognizing our desires, but taking it even deeper. So all the desires that we kind of touch upon through magic and our magic practice, but it's like really core desire.
Mm-hmm.
And then we take that power extending to another, and that compels them to go deep, to be able to give back. I mean, really, I feel like our relationship and the work we did together is probably the best example. I'm so sorry.
I get it.
Like, oh.
I know to my core, this is necessary. Mm-hmm. So I dig deep. It's past the desire of, oh, wouldn't it be nice? But this is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But that does involve other people in one way or another.
Yes.
And in activating that core desire, you're also bringing those other people up with you because they have to join you there.
Yeah.
So you get what you want.
Yes.
But they also get what they want as well. And this not from I can't believe I'm saying this. It's not from like a mental level. It's from like not even like a soul level. It's like a core level of this is who I'm meant to be and this is who you're meant to be with me.
Yeah.
Even if it's for a moment.
Mm-hmm. The essence of me requires this. Because when we're in bliss, we're effectively functioning from the fullest essence of our being, because that is how we are bringing the divine on this earth plane.
Mm-hmm.
So prosperity is fundamental to bliss, just as abundance is a key part of oneness consciousness. But prosperity just gives us so much more to work with. It makes our experiences in bliss a lot meatier. They give them a bit more, I would almost say weight, but you don't have weight in bliss because you're flowing at such a rate that you can't afford to have anything matter to such a degree that you get weighed down. We want so much because we want to feel so alive. And to be able to do that, to be able to write what is not written, we need to keep moving. We need to keep going. So every experience has got to give us more than just surface level little sound bites or whatever, because it's not going to feel like enough for us. So
which is, by the way, I don't feel like that's as exhausting as it sounds.
No, it's not.
Because if you think about it, prosperity, if you think about everything 5D being relational, how life is actually really relational, and how we say, like, you know, you grow a seed and then it blossoms and grows, etc. Mm-hmm. If you're operating from a place of where you're doing well, that's one person. But if you're able to operate from a place where more people are doing well as you, then that's just bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And makes more change and creates more of a new world. Mm-hmm. So coming from a place of separation where in order for me to win, you have to lose, we move to a place of everybody wins all the time. And that's that does sound like prosperity. Mm-hmm. This episode is brought to you by Karma Magic Bliss. For more information, resources, and links to our books, check out our website, karmamagicbliss.com, and Karma Magic Bliss across all socials.
And if you liked what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review.